The badges on our caps. Have you looked at them?
What? No. A bit?
Hans, are we the baddies?
MTG, welcome back to the program. I'm sure you have some thoughts on how the DOJ has been handling this release of the Epstein files, or non-release, actually, of the Epstein files. The floor is yours. Let's just get your snap take on this, please.
Right, Benny. This is something I've been vocal about for years, and this is an important issue to all Americans. Jeffrey Epstein is the most well-known pedophile in modern day history. I think no one can argue with that. And this is a man that walked in circles that most regular Americans can't walk in. He walked among the most powerful people in the world. And he was known in those circles to be basically a pedophile, to be a sexual aggressor towards young women. And they still chose to hang out with him anyways. And it's really difficult. This is a red line for many people, and I feel the same way. It can't just be dismissed, especially with the evidence that stands that any American can read, especially when Jeffrey Epstein was convicted in 2009. And the prosecutors and attorneys on that case were told that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in the intellectual and the intelligence community. And so this is something that has been well known and talked about. And one of his most famous madams is serving 20 years in prison, Ghislaine Maxwell, to this day. And her little black book was sealed in the court hearings with over 2,000 names that had foreign leaders, some of the richest people in the world, American politicians. And her little black book with all those names was sealed in her court hearing. There's been so many victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and then other women as well that procured these young women and minors for Jeffrey Epstein. And so, you know, I'm a big fan and personal friends with Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi as well. But this one's hard to swallow, and I think Americans and everyone deserves more answers. Benny, I'll finish with this. When George Santos is going to prison to serve 7 years in prison, and not a single person that hung out with Jeffrey Epstein while he committed horrific crimes against minors is not going to prison, we're asking what's wrong with our justice system in America. And currently right now, just to add on to that, there's a doctor that is being prosecuted right now. He's a hero in my book, and he's being prosecuted. His trial is going on right now. And all he did was destroy Big Pharma's COVID vaccines and issue fake vaccine cards for people that didn't want to take these vaccines under mandate. And when our Department of Justice is prosecuting a heroic doctor like that, but is dismissing the most well-known pedophile in our time, it just doesn't pass the smell test, and it doesn't sit well with people, and it shouldn't sit well with people. And it's right to speak out about it. And I'll be very honest with you. As a member of Congress, I can tell you right now, any investigation that's done on congressional committees won't satisfy the American people, because I think the American people know that when you see these committees and hearings and investigation, it doesn't really follow through with what you're expecting. So I just think that this is one of those things that it's just wrong. It's just wrong, and no administration should ever protect the people that were around and involved with Jeffrey Epstein. And one last thing on it, Benny, sorry to be long-winded. I very much, this is my own opinion, I don't care what anybody thinks of me when I say this, but I very much believe Jeffrey Epstein is also linked to other foreign countries' governments. And so that's my opinion, and I'm willing to say it.
Well, we have photographs of Ehud Barak, the prime minister of Israel, and the head of one of the Mossad agencies going in and out of his house. We have those. There's photos, right? Yep. So stop telling us to not believe our eyes and ears. On this program, Congresswoman Alan Dershowitz said he brought Jeffrey Epstein to Israel to meet with high-level government officials. He told me that. I couldn't believe it when he told me, but he said, yeah, totally, he could have been Mossad. And we know
and
Ghislaine
most
Maxwell's.
Americans,
It was
right,
Ghislaine
most
Maxwell's.
Americans can't go to Israel and meet with high level officials, right? So
That's
why
exactly
was
right.
Jeffrey Epstein?
So I'm not like, again, the picture that's being painted here is, and it's pretty clear picture, is that Jeffrey Epstein belonged to Intel. Now we have an interesting little nugget out this morning where Data Republican was able to find that he was a CIA agent. He bragged about it openly, and it's in print from about 25 years ago. The Evening Standard wrote up a profile of Epstein, and he was bragging about being a CIA agent then. Is he lying then, or is the government lying now? I don't. Which one is it, Congresswoman?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I haven't been privy to any of the classified information, and I won't pretend that I know. I can just tell you my thoughts and my opinions on it, and the fact that I stand with everyone that is upset and angry about this. I think it's completely wrong, and I unfortunately I wish this was different.
Yeah, I just want to put up the evidence here, just so that everybody who's going to clip the show, how dare you? How dare you? Here it is. The Times of Israel. Ehud Barak met with Jeffrey Epstein dozens of times, flew in his private jet, was friends with them. Photos of him going. He was there. Look, this is a good one, including 2014 private flight in Florida after he had been charged and convicted and found guilty and done prison time for child sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
this is a clear. There's a clear line right there. And
read it and weep.
Said,
yeah.
Are we supposed to deny what our eyes and ears tell us? And absolutely not. And I want to follow up on something else, Benny. It's not anti-Semitic to talk about this. And it's not anti-Semitic to question any foreign country's government, secular government, including Israel. And I think that's the right thing for people to do, is to always question any foreign government's motives, especially when they come to our country constantly demanding money and demanding help and support. Unfortunately, I don't see enough of the American people in the halls of Congress demanding help and demanding support and demanding funding. But I do happen to see a lot of foreign countries' leaders and diplomats coming to Washington on too frequent of a basis.
Yeah, we fund a lot of other countries' borders better than we fund our own. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct. Yes. I have an amendment, actually. I have several amendments going for our NDAA that is being worked on right now. This is our Department of Defense funding, and it's over $800 trillion, actually close to $900 trillion is the total bill. But unfortunately, there's money in there for foreign aid, and I'm introducing amendments to take it out. I'm introducing an amendment to take out the $500 million for Israel. They already receive $3.4 billion annually every single year through the State Department. I've got those same amendments on Taiwan for $500 million and for Jordan for $500 million as well. Those are countries that also receive significant amounts of American taxpayer dollars every single year. And here's a ridiculous one, Benny. There's 15 million in there for AIDS prevention education activities. And I don't know why Americans are having to pay for that in Africa. I think that's ridiculous. And I think if people want to donate money to that themselves, they can, but it shouldn't be in our Department of Defense funding, as well as $118 million for foreign disasters in foreign countries and aid. You know, I think we've had enough of our own natural disasters in America, and that's exactly where our hard-earned taxpayers should be going, not to foreign countries. And that's not being mean to foreign people and foreign countries, but America's broke. We're $37 trillion in debt, and we just can't pay for the world anymore. And that's not being an isolationist. That's actually being smart and serving the people that pay for all of this stuff and have been chained into $37 trillion in debt.
Yeah, it's entirely correct, and it leads to some of the peculiarities about this whole Epstein case is the entanglements inside of the foreign intel agencies and with foreign nations. That seems to be part of the pressure point here. I'm wondering, do you believe, because this problem isn't going away, do you believe that there should be perhaps a special counsel that is established to just simply look into this, given that perhaps the endemic corruption is within the Department of Justice and the FBI itself from decades and decades and decades of abuse and grotesque misleadings of the American people?
I think that's a great question, but I'll be very direct and honest with you and to your listeners as well, because I think your listeners are really smart. It sounds good to demand a special counsel. And while I think a special counsel should reveal all the information that people want to see, I honestly don't think that it'll go anywhere. And I don't want to lie to anyone and make any promises that sound good or would be a great hot take on social media. But I really, truly, if we aren't seeing the information coming out right now with this administration, I think the very sad and wrongful truth is that I don't think we're ever going to see the information, especially revealing what all of us pretty much know to be true with 99% confidence, is that Jeffrey Epstein was an asset of the intelligence community and very likely linked to foreign countries' governments.
Yeah, it's a wild article here from this morning. So this article from I can't get it over it. It brags about this is the one about Ehud Barak, but the one from the Evening Standard. It brags about how he was able to gun smuggle into the UK.
Yeah,
who's able to gun smuggle into the UK? How he was bringing a bunch of presents of like pump action police riot rifles. Right. That's how they start the article. That he's just gun smuggling for fun into the United Kingdom. Who's allowed to do that? MTG?
Nobody. As a matter of fact, remember when Madison Cawthorn was a member of Congress, he got busted for having a gun. I think he had it in his wheelchair going through the security at DCA. Can you imagine anybody trying to smuggle guns into a country and getting busted? No, this guy was clearly protected, and he's dead now, and he's still clearly being protected.
Yes.
And so are the powerful people that they have information on.
This is what I can't figure out. Perhaps you could square this hole for me. Why protect a dead pedophile? What's the deal here? He has no rights. He's a dead pedophile. So why burn credibility on this one, MTG?
The only reason to do that is because you're protecting the powerful people that are still alive. It's not about the dead pedophile. It's about the powerful people and governments that are still alive. And again, I don't agree with it. You know, I love President Trump and I absolutely love his administration, but I'm also my own person and I can disagree with things.
Yeah. What would be your advice if you were to try and rectify this? Victor Davis Hanson, who we broadly admire, said this just isn't going away. And in fact, it just makes it worse when you tell people, especially in the year 2025, we looked into it, move along. That doesn't fly anymore, right? So what would be your advice to the Trump administration to fix this? My
advice is burn the bridges. The people voted for transparency and truth and America first. And that they really meant it in this election. And I say burn the bridges, expose everyone. The truth should come out and do the right thing, regardless of which foreign country's government is involved. And regardless of all the powerful people that may be linked, I think that's the right thing to do. And I know, I mean, my goodness, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are actually locking up criminals and pursuing them and tracking them down every day. These guys are doing an incredible job. And I know, I just, in my gut, I feel like they would like to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does color all the incredible work that they've done. It does. And that hurts my soul because I know that they are doing incredible work. And I'm so proud of so many W's in the Trump administration.
Oh, yeah. It's I mean, truly, it's been 6 months and the wins are incredible. They're absolutely incredible. And we have to keep our eyes on that, right? It's only been 6 months. You know, today I'm sitting here looking at the news. A federal judge just issued a new nationwide block against President Trump's orders seeking to end birthright citizenship. The left is not going to stop. The Democrats are not going to stop fighting us. So we have to continue to fight together against the Democrats. But this Jeffrey Epstein thing is a pretty hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, it's a tough one for the base, and you have to keep the coalition together. The only way that you have a victory like you have in 2024 is the incredible coalition that President Trump built.
That's right.
Why aren't more Republicans talking about this? Did they just want it to go away too?
I have no idea, Benny. I've quit answering for my colleagues. I just focus on myself. I focus on my district, and I just truly try to represent the American people. And so I'm working on really great legislation, Benny. I have a bill coming out that is going to call for a new census, and will count not only the population of our country, because that's in the Constitution, but more importantly, it will count American citizens in this country. And then it will call for reapportionment based on the American citizen count only. So that means California would lose seats, New York would lose seats. They would go to red states that don't harbor and give sanctuary to illegal aliens. It would also change the electoral college count, being more favorable towards states that do not harbor and pay for illegal aliens. And I think it would drastically save our elections. It also, the last thing that's really important is it requires every single voter that votes in a federal election across the entire country to provide proof of citizenship when they vote. And this is a bill I'm really excited about because I believe our elections are so important. That's how the American people continue to control their government. And Democrats want nothing more than to provide amnesty for illegal aliens and have them voting in our elections.
Yes. So this would take a act of Congress, and we've studied this. Yeah, it can't be done through executive order.
No.
It does take, to have it permanent, it takes an act of Congress.
And I have one guy behind me, President Trump. He is endorsing my bill, which actually gives it a lot of momentum in the House. And I've already been speaking with Speaker Johnson and our leadership, as well as the White House Legislative Affairs. So this is one that I'm going to need everyone's help to push because I think we know how important elections are. And the elections going forward are going to be even more important because the left is not guiding its way back to center. They're turning further to the left. And we saw that in the New York mayor's election recently. We're looking at a very dangerous socialist in New York, possibly becoming the mayor of New York.
Yeah. And a vicious racist, too. Yeah. Something I didn't get a chance to ask Trump when we were at Alligator Alcatraz is about that. He wanted, this guy wants to tax Trump and his family more. He wants to tax rich white people in New York, which is, again, patently illegal, right? But also immoral. And nobody's calling that out. Like, nobody on the left is saying that that's wrong. No. So at what point does that then, if we let the left take the levers of power, they're telling us they're telegraphing what they're going to do, right? Like, it's going to come to South Africa.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is what the Democrats don't believe in the American dream. They want to punish you. If you become successful and wealthy in America, you'll be punished by being forced to pay the highest taxes in the land. And taxes are already outrageous. And so is the cost of living. And Benny, there's one thing I'm concerned about, and it's something I'm looking into deeply, is unfortunately with the cost of living, and I'll just go into insurance, for example. Like health insurance, homeowners insurance, and car insurance is skyrocketing and it's out of control. And the problem with that means is we're opening the door to these radical socialists and even communist Democrats that will run for office, and they're going to promise, they're going to go back to Bernie's free healthcare for all. They're going to be promising outrageous government-funded insurance programs for Americans, but we've got a suffering population of people in America that will be appealing to because they already can't afford insurance. Young people, my kids are 22, 25, and 27, and their generation, they can hardly pay rent. They don't even know if they'll ever be able to buy a house. But when they look at insurance and the cost of living, it's so unaffordable. So I really am concerned about our future of our elections, where extremely radical Democrats will become appealing to American voters simply because they're dealing with these problems every single day, while our federal government is more interested in sending billions and billions of dollars to every other country all over the world. And so, I mean, I'm unapologetically America first, and I think we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Your bill would be the first start. We'll help you in muscularly pushing for that. That's how you actually fix the country. You disincentivize bringing criminal aliens in to rig the systems and rig your elections, obviously.
Yes, that's exactly what we need to do.
Obviously. And then you change the way we looked it up in the Constitution. It does say that. Count the persons, not the citizens. One of those
Right.
things you wish you had a time travel machine. One of those things you wish you could.
Right.
No, citizens.
Citizens.
Yeah.
Citizens, and citizens are the ones that are paying for our government.
Yes.
And so, while we have Tom Homan and President Trump's great administration and Secretary Noem, and they're all working on deportations and securing our border, which is so important. We're so thankful for. We should correct our elections so that going forward, they can't vote because they've already tried. Democrats tried to pass a law in Washington, D.C. and the District of Columbia to allow illegal aliens, non-citizens to vote in elections. New York City does it, and there's several cities in California that already allow non-citizens to vote in their elections. This is the end goal for Democrats. So I think this is the way to stop it before they get the power to be able to do it.
Another way to stop it is to follow our dear friend MTG here on X with nearly 5 million subscribers already. MTG is one of the most followed members of Congress and certainly one of the most prominent and powerful and outspoken, and we're so thankful for that because it does actually move the Overton window for all of the cowards that she has to serve with so that we can actually have a functional party. And so we're thankful for you, MTG.
Thank you, Benny. It's great to see you today.
Godspeed.